Welcome to Distributive Property. Okay, so when I think of distributive, I think of the word distribute, and it makes me think of like a birthday party and passing out goodie bags. I'm going to distribute goodie bags to each friend. So how many items do I need for each goodie bag? It makes me think of multiplying. Well, distributive property is multiplying. You're taking this number of groups, so 3 groups, and what am I putting in each group? What am I putting in each goodie bag? X plus 5. And I'm multiplying. Okay, if I'm giving out 3 goodie bags of X plus 5, how much do I need of each? Another way to look at it is using algebra tiles. So let's take a look. If I'm using algebra tiles, I have 3 groups of X plus 5. And by drawing it out, it allows me to actually count it. So I have 3 X's, 5, 10, 15 units. So I wind up with 3x plus 15, and I know it's plus because they're all colored. They're not red, which tells me they're positive. Similarly, I could have multiplied 3 times x, 3x, 3 times 5, 15. Let's look at another. Here I have 5 goodie bags, and in each goodie bag is 3x minus 7. So I have 5 groups of 3x minus 7. All right, well, in my 5 groups of x's, I have 3 times 5 is 15 x's. And then I have 7 times 5, my units, but it's negative 7 because they're red. So negative 7 times 5 is negative 35. I can count them, or I can look at it as multiplication. 5 times 3, 15. 5 times the negative 7, negative 35. 15x minus 35. Sometimes we're asked to do the opposite, and when we do the opposite, we don't multiply, we do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So here I look at my 2 numbers, I have 7 and 28, and I ask myself, what do these 2 numbers have in common? If I was looking at a multiplication table, what would the 2 have in common? And the answer is 7. 7 times 1 is 7, but I can divide 28 by 7, and I get 4. 7 divided by 1 would be 7. So I'm going to take 7, I'm going to divide by 7, and I'm going to end up with 1, or 1x. And then I'm going to take 28, and I'm going to divide by 7, and I wind up with 4. It's positive, so my answer is 1x plus 4. Again, we're doing the opposite. Excuse me. I have 7 groups of 1x plus 4. So we're doing the opposite. We're saying, what can I divide by? What I can divide by is my number of groups. What's left over after I divide by that is what goes in each group. Let's look at one more. Here I have 15x minus 30. Now I want to remind myself that this is a minus because that's going to go into my answer. So when I look at 15, I know I can divide by 3. I can also divide by 5. And I can also divide by 15. When I look at 30, I can divide by 1, which would give me 30. I can divide by 2, which would give me 15. I can divide by 3, which gives me 10. So the question is, as far as the division goes, what numbers do I have in common? Well, as far as dividing goes, I have divide by 3 in common. Okay, so if that's what I'm going to use, then I'm going to say 3 groups. 15 divided by 3 is 5x. And negative 30 divided by 3 is negative 15. But I can also look at it and say, hey, I can divide 30 by 15. If I divide it by 15, I get 2. These two are opposites. It works either way. And because of that, I recognize that I can also use 15. So if I'm going to use 15, 15 is going to be my number of groups. 15 divided by 15 leaves me with just 1x. And negative 30 divided by 15 is negative 2. But wait, I can also divide 30 by 5. And that gives me 6. Divide by 5, divide by 5. So I can actually use 5 as my number of groups as well. 15 divided by 5 is 3, so 3x, and negative 30 divided by 5 is negative 6. So really there are 3 correct answers in this problem. Either one of them would work. All right, now go ahead, play, pause, and rewind as much as you need to understand.